guys, it's April and I garden in zone 5B in southeast Nebraska, and this is going to be my second ever garden tour. It is July 29th, 2022. There have been a few changes since my last garden tour. If you haven't seen that one, I will link it up above so you can check it out. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to start showing you some of the things that I've kind of noticed changing over this past week, or that I have actually changed over this past week. Yeah, it's first bed in these determinate tomato plants. And the San Marzanos, I have two plants in here, have been the most prolific producers this year. As you can see with all of these tomatoes right here. I have so many Roma tomatoes. Definitely gonna have spaghetti tonight. But in here, buried in this jungle, is this tomato. It is the only tomato that has formed so far on the Korean long tomato. So the first year Baker Creek has had this tomato. Super excited to try it. But like I said, it's the only one that has formed on this plant so far. This plant has been struggling. Not entirely sure why. But it produced that one tomato, so we're gonna try that one tomato and I'll let you know how it tastes. Then we have these peppers. This is the goddess banana pepper from Johnny's, and it has produced so many peppers that I have been giving some to the guinea pigs, and they love it. And this is the variegated pepper I was telling you about last time. It is so pretty. Haven't tried any of the peppers yet. None of them have ripened, but just watching this plant grow, totally worth it. I do have an okra plant buried in here. I planted it back when there was space, but of course then everything grew and now there's not space. I did pull out the lettuce that was here this week. It was looking kind of raggedy. I grow it for the guinea pigs, and they didn't mind that it was turning a little bit bitter. Hey, there's one actually kind of still growing. And so I let it hang on longer than I probably should have, but I have pulled it out. I've planted some new stuff in pots on the deck just to see how they do, to get another round of lettuce. But we'll see. All of these tomato plants need a heavy prune. I've been avoiding it because it's been so stinking hot and I didn't want to be out here. But they still seem to be thriving because we've got tomatoes. And then of course we've got this pepper plant, which seems to be doing well, but right here is where my Walla Walla onions used to be. I have gone back and I've planted a couple of butterscotch butternut squashes there because, as you'll see, my butternut squash not doing so hot. The popcorn is doing pretty well, at least growing wise. Not sure if I'll get actual kernels off of it because the beetles have been eating the silks, but I'm hoping. The exciting part is all of the butterkins that are forming on this vine. They are just everywhere. And I've got this one that I'm keeping my eye on. Let's see if I can. I'm waiting for that stem to dry out a little bit to know that it's ready. But the fact that if I don't get any butternut squash, at least I have this hybrid. So I'm excited about that. Over here, we've got the fountain. But what I really want you to see is this monster of a cucumber mess. There's technically 3 plants in here. We've got, green apple and lemon varieties of cucumbers. Both, I think, are from Baker Creek. I have yet to see fruit from this plant. Plants. There's 3 plants. I haven't seen any fruit. We've got so many flowers, both male and female. I just haven't seen any fruit. And I don't know why. But because of this plant, I have been trying to make sure that this bullnose pepper plant doesn't get shaded out or overwhelmed or taken over, because the cucumber is coming in from this direction and the tomatoes are coming from this direction and above. I'm just afraid it's gonna get a little squished. So far I've been doing okay managing it, but I fear that one day I'm gonna fail. But this is one of the earliest producing sweet peppers that I have. This is what I started cutting off first. And it is the one bell pepper plant that is doing really good. I struggle with bell peppers. I'm not sure why. But this plant seems to be doing okay. So far, I really like this variety. This is the first year I've grown it. I do have to show you how, first of all, excuse me, Mr. Tomato, how these variegated sweet peppers are doing. There are so many peppers on this plant. It's technically 2 plants here, but this candy cane has kind of taken over. I did harvest one of these for the first time the other day. Haven't tried it yet. It's sitting on my counter. I'm looking forward to seeing if it tastes the same and it's just the looks or what. We've got the one okra plant that's doing really, really well. I think I saved it from the beetles. We've got this bed and these wild and crazy tomato plants. Once again, they will get pruned at some point. But I just love these pepper plants. I haven't tried any of the spicy peppers of these variegated varieties. I just kind of like looking at them. Birds are flying everywhere right now, and one just landed in the tomato plant next to me. But as I was saying, I just like looking at these. The problem is I don't technically know how spicy these are because they're homegrown. They're developed in somebody's backyard. I just thought they were cool looking. And then we have my tiger Roma plants. I've got 3 of them. I've got a blushing, I've got a pink, and I've got a green. I tried the blushing for the first time last year, and it was one of my favorite tomatoes. So I decided to try the other 2 varieties because I like to collect them all. I'm just one of those people. I love having the option of everything in something I like. But so far, I've only gotten 3 tomatoes off of these 3 plants. And this is one of the few tomatoes that are left on these plants so far. As you can see, they're kind of struggling a little bit. Once again, I don't know why. But I'll spin around real quick. Got the fountain again, but then we have all of these sunflowers. I just had a handful, threw them in the ground, and they're almost to flowering. I think this is a Pro-Cut White Knight. Maybe? It is one of the varieties I have planted. I just don't know what actually came up. But I can't wait until this whole row here is just in bloom and you can see it from the deck. And right about here, excuse the aphids, but we have this butterfly milkweed. I think it's called a butterfly weed. I mean, technically it's the same thing as a milkweed, but it is about to bloom. But yeah, I don't use anything on my plants because I do want the butterflies and the pollinators, hence why there's aphids everywhere. I'm okay with that though. And then we have the soba and the milkweed and the quinoa and the dandelions. Just going wild over here. And I think it is so pretty. I do have a grass issue in the back because it's coming up between the 2 fences and it's hard to maintain. I think I need to go through with a black tarp and just kill it or something. I need to find a way to manage that so that I can start fresh again next year. So if you guys have any ideas, leave me a comment on how you would handle taking out this grass. There is mulch. It came through the mulch. I don't know. Back at this last bed. Got, of course, more tomatoes. And this one I am super excited about. Look at how big that thing is. That is a Kellogg's breakfast. It's got to be the biggest tomato I have ever grown. There's technically 3 there. But the one on the left is huge. And I can't wait for that to ripen. And I can try it and weigh it. I think that is going to be my Goliath for the year. The carrots. The carrots are doing very well. Been harvesting some of those. The volunteer potato plant. It's just, it makes me laugh every time I see it. How it's taken over. Don't know what variety it is. I'm guessing it's a white variety just because of the stem. But I did a whole mixed bag of potatoes last year, so it could be anything at this point. Otherwise, we've got the rest of the tomatoes and the carrots, but I really want to show you this habanero. Look at it. I am so excited about this. The fact that it's a habanero that won't kill me. I just want to know what it tastes like. And I'm really bad at waiting. I want to try it now. Please. I'll be patient. I am notoriously bad for picking things early. And look at those jalapenos. Holy cow, I need to harvest those. So this is a dream catcher pepper. I tried a red one for the first time the other day. And it's got a little bit of a kick. I also tried a purple one. It also has a kick. I think I'm gonna wait until there is enough peppers on this plant to pull them, whether they're red or they're purple, and then ferment them and make a hot sauce. Because I think the color of that would just be amazing. You've already got a sneak peek of this pumpkin. Okay, this is actually 2 pumpkin plants. One is doing a little better than the other. So we've got this pumpkin and we've got this one. Now this one has 1, 2, there's a 3rd one in there somewhere. Ah, there we go. 3 pumpkins already growing on it. So I'm hoping that we get a few more. I only got 3 last year, so we're on track. But I'm hoping this vine lives long enough that all of those ripen. We've got our ground cherries. Haven't harvested off of them yet. Still waiting. But I have to show you this. The tomatillo. I'm gonna set you down. Look at that tomatillo. How exciting is that? I'm super excited about that. First and only tomatillo I've ever gotten. Peach tree still isn't quite ready yet, but we do have this cucumber plant, and I think you might actually get a cucumber. Zucchinis. Did I say cucumbers? Zucchinis. So we might actually get a zucchini this year, which I'm excited about. I didn't realize that last year was my honeymoon garden because none of the bugs knew where we were at yet. They definitely know we're here now. They are my biggest issue with growing zucchinis right now, which is why I have one plant with one fruit that I hope doesn't die. And then you can see the candy pumpkins. I've got some bunching onions, some more pepper, strawberries, the honeyberry, which I did actually harvest really tiny berries off of. I have the picture up on Instagram if you want to see that harvest. I usually post pretty regularly over there of what I'm pulling out of the garden if you want to check that out. But then we have more bunching onions and strawberries. Still holding on. And I mentioned last time that I pulled the potatoes out of this bag. I have since added in New Zealand spinach. It's a heat-tolerant spinach variety. I grew it last year and we really enjoyed it, so I figured I'd try it in this grow bag if this tomato plant will let me. And as you can see, we're starting to get tomatoes in these in-ground tomatoes. Also got the bush beans coming along. Buried in there is the pole bean. You can kind of see the flowers just a little bit. More tomatoes, tomatoes. I did do a clean out of the strawberry bed. I pulled all of the stuff that was dead and dying just to give it a little bit of a refresh, and I kind of hope it'll help with the production of these strawberries. I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not, but it happened. Then we have the original cucumber plant, or one of the original cucumber plants. This one hasn't produced any cucumbers yet either, and as you can see, it's not doing as well as the ones in the bed. You can tell the difference between the soil quality between what I brought in compost-wise and the beautiful clay soil I'm dealing with here. But it's still here. It's still doing its thing, so I can't complain. This is the butternut that is dying. I don't think she's gonna make it. This is kind of how my year's been going so far. This plant. And then these sunflowers. Teddy bear sunflowers are one of my favorite sunflowers. And these are all from the teddy bear sunflowers I had here last year. This guy looks a little bit different, which is interesting. The only problem is this poor blueberry plant. He's just kind of being covered by these sunflowers. This one seems to be doing okay. Now I will show you something I didn't show you last time, and that is my volunteer patch. So I'm going to take you this way. You can see the raised bed that I haven't filled yet. That is a project for next year. But this right here, this is my compost pile, and these are from last year's plants. As you can tell, we have a ton of tomatoes. I have picked a few tomatoes, and I think one of these plants is a white currant tomato. Got some zinnias as well. And then we have this giant mammoth sunflower. I didn't plant mammoth this year because I have so many seeds from last year that I didn't think it was necessary. So this one's just going to be for the birds. And that's okay. But otherwise, this is my jungle of tomato plants with a hodgepodge of different varieties. And then I'll just do a quick pan for you so you can just see it in all of its glory. That is the garden. My shoes are a little squeaky. If you want to follow me on a daily basis, I do post nearly regularly on Instagram. I do a Thursday tour over there, so if you want something quicker and just kind of a flash through, go check that out. Otherwise, I'm going to try and do weekly tours here on YouTube. So if that is your thing, feel free to subscribe. Hit the thing, hit the bell, do all the things, like, comment, subscribe, you know, the usual YouTube mumbo jumbo. And otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I heart your beautiful faces.